It's May 7th, 2024, and this is Sketchworks Newsbreak. The news stops here. I'm Brian Troxel, and my dress shirts don't fit anymore. Look at this nonsense. I feel like I'm wearing a linebacker's shirt. Last week, the pro-Palestinian campus protests continued. One of the leaders of the protests at Columbia, the unfortunately named Johanna King Slutsky, demanded that the school provide the protesters with humanitarian aid. She said they're not asking for much, just essentials like food, water, and hormone blockers. Eventually, most of the protests were broken up and the students were forced to leave the area. But don't worry, these students will surely all have successful careers at asking their parents for money. Boeing last night launched 2 NASA astronauts into space. We normally record the show on Tuesday and release it the same day, but this week, for reasons way too boring to go into, we had to tape the show Monday night. And we should have known Boeing was going to screw something up. So here's a replacement joke that Tim Millard provided, which I'm recording on Tuesday morning. Hi, Winston. Boeing canceled a planned launch of its Starliner spacecraft to the International Space Station due to a last-minute problem. The door didn't fall off. Boeing representatives plan to try again and promise the door will indeed come off during the flight. We now return you to Monday night on Tuesday. Say goodbye to everybody, Winston. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Oh, God, what are those idiots going to screw up this time? The CDC issued a warning Tuesday about an E. coli outbreak connected to walnuts, which clears my girlfriend of any worry as she never goes near the nuts. No, that's not true. I don't have a girlfriend, as pretty much all of you watching already know. Tough week for South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem after receiving criticism for revealing in her book No Going Back that she shot her dog and her goat for essentially not meeting her standards. Governor Noem doubled down on the dog killing by suggesting President Biden's rambunctious dog Commander should meet the same fate of being shot by her and then buried in South Dakota. It's all part of her one-woman crusade to make America dogless again. Mercifully, that's all for Governor Noem this week. Oh no, wait! It isn't! There's more! Governor Noem claimed that on her trip to South Korea in 2014, she met North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un when, in fact, she did not meet North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un in 2014. She hasn't even met Kim Cattrall. Let's hold off on the Kim claims, shall we, Governor? And just like that, we move on to this. The annual rocket wars of 2 rival churches in Vrontados, Greece occurred over the weekend in celebration of Greek Orthodox Easter. A representative for one of the churches said, "Jesus has risen, and so have our rockets." For Easter brunch, the 2 churches served egg salad with a side of grenades and the annual AK-47 21-gun salute. In other rocket news, Russia began preparations for missile drills after the UK and France made statements agreeing to support Ukraine if they were asked to. A spokesperson for the Kremlin said President Putin will call off the drills if everyone would just leave him alone and let him rule the stupid universe. But not to worry, Newsbreak viewers, he'll never rule Sketchworks Newsbreak. Unless he offers us enough money and we sell out to him. Honestly, it wouldn't take that much. Just saying. Caltech researchers at Caltech have uncovered research which suggests the remains of an ancient planet can be found close to the Earth's core. A planet that, more than likely, collided with Earth billions of years ago. And, just like Earth, it was a planet with 0 signs of intelligent life. Speaking of Earth, Florida became the first state to officially ban lab-grown meat. Officials said that the only thing Floridians trust coming out of a lab is their meth. The world's oldest bird, Wisdom, who is 72 years old, just like me, has been seen courting new mates. They can tell she's seeking mates by the way she presents her feathers and because she's always carrying a bottle of lube. And just like Wisdom is courting new mates, we, Sketchworks Comedy, are courting new subscribers because social media makes everything an endless grind. If you haven't yet subscribed, well then what are you waiting for? Smash that button and all the other buttons just to make sure. Thus ends this week's gratuitous plug. In real estate news, the city of Berlin is offering to give away a 42-acre villa once owned by Hitler's propaganda minister, Joseph Goebbels, a man who killed his own 5 children rather than have them live in a world without Hitler. So, if you're interested in owning Goebbels' house, call Berlin. I think you could put a pickleball court right there. The cicada invasion has begun, with trillions of cicadas emerging from underground. Scientists say that there are 2 types of cicadas in the swarm, making it even more extraordinary, covering large areas, especially in the southeast. Ugh. Why can't we have an invasion of cats instead? They're much cuter. Although there would be a lot of poop to scoop, and they'd probably take over the world. Speaking of cats, a cat from California was accidentally shipped through Amazon 630 miles away to Utah. Miraculously, the cat was returned to their rightful owner and had to find another way to finish the job. No. Winston and Malachi are going to throw up on me while I'm sleeping tonight after that one. French bakers made the world's longest baguette on Sunday. It's more than 460 feet long. France then promptly surrendered to the monster baguette. The New York Times reported that scammers, filthy, dirty scammers, are stealing money from people who rely on food stamps and cash assistance. The total amount stolen from 2017 to 2024 has been a staggering $76.32. A school teacher in Wisconsin was dumped by her fiancé after she was found cheating on him with one of her 5th grade students. And then the teacher broke up with the 5th grader after he cheated on her with a baby. Medical device maker Philips announced a $1.1 billion personal injury settlement over some of their CPAP ventilators. The problem that triggered the recall was people could breathe in pieces of the polyurethane foam, giving the perfect alibi to rich widows. Elsewhere in business news, shares of Starbucks dropped last week after the company announced that they are losing customers. Starbucks will now conduct research to understand why people don't want to pay $10 for a cup of caffeinated sugar. Panama's new president-elect says he never imagined he would become the Central American country's next leader. And he's right. He just thought he was voting on his favorite Van Halen song. Panama? Middling at best. Star Wars Day was last weekend, and to honor the late Carrie Fisher, women all over the world dressed up like Princess Leia, and then immediately made out with their brothers. And that's all for Sketchworks Newsbreak. We'll be back next week, and we hope you are too. I'm Brian Troxell. Say hi to your mom for me.